Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Author Tizzy. I play the ticked off chicken, also known as TOC, and I am joined by my wonderful, fantabulous, amazing friend.
I should not have let you do the intro. How dare you? Hi, I'm Jade, and I guess I'm no longer friends with Arthur. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm Jade. Hi, I'll be playing Victrola. Um, you are also amazing, wonderful, and fantabulous. Thank you very much. Um,
Well, gosh.
but yeah, this FPS, I believe, is taking place after Icebreaker's Anonymous and those three FPSs that basically follow up. So
Yeah, if you're confused, just go back through the Ton family games or the TOC games and just do the last at least four.
um,
We're making a series now.
this is a series, I guess. But uh, I believe I get to paint the word picture because we are starting this game in Triny's or the Ton family apartment. After the events of Icebreakers Anonymous, Triny has been pulled away for stuff that specifically happened in Icebreakers Anonymous, but you can go listen to that if you want the details. Meaning, Triny needs somebody to babysit, and sadly, Miss Honeybottom is not available at the current time. So Triny has asked DOC to help if they would be willing. Um, Triny is going to be gone for a week, so it is a week of TOC and Victrola at the Ton family household.
And weirdly enough, TOC is also at loose ends because, by some strange coincidence, their roommate Juniper has also gone on a trip. Imagine that. So weird. Anyways,
Yeah.
TOC doesn't relish being alone. Like they never sleep well when they can't sleep next to Juniper. So when Trini comes to them with this offer, they're of course like, sure, babysitting. How hard could it be?
And it's not like TOC definitely doesn't want to have some words with Victrola.
Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely not.
I like to imagine this FPS starts out late into the evening, actually. Uh, to describe what the first couple of days of staying at the Ton family apartment are like for TOC, probably, is a lot of. I would think this is probably like maybe midway through the week we're trying to ask to do this. So, meaning like the first couple of days is Victrola going off to school and coming back mid afternoon after all of her after school activities. Trini has made sure that she has arrived to her to the things that take place further out. So TOC has a schedule basically of when Victrola should be
Mhm.
home and stuff like that, and Victrola has been following it to a T, um, making sure not to get home late and stuff like that. So for the first couple of nights, it seems normal. It's a lot of cooking, making sure TOC would be allowed. Like TOC is obviously allowed to like not only meddle with the fridge, but also probably goes back to Juniper's apartment to take care of that garden that she has or that they have. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah. There's they are very glad for the schedule. They're very glad that Victrola is a responsible child who can help them because their version of a watch involves getting a full size grandfather clock out of their hammer space and hoping it doesn't fall on someone. So it's just better.
Yeah,
It's just better. And I will say that when pressed, they can just neum Victrola to school.
that's
Like
fucking funny.
they are of a size to be, a pretty comfortable mount for this child.
There's a school
So there's
carriage. There's a school carriage.
yeah,
So
of course.
that doesn't need to happen. But I like to imagine that TOC is like, all right, I gotta take you to school, right? Like, and then Victoria's just, I can just take the bus.
It's like, can you drive? No, hop on.
So, uh, but it is on the first night of the wiki. And where is TOC sleeping?
Um, Probably on the back of the sofa.
On the back of the sofa. Okay.
Yeah, like they chickens TOC kind of does half of this, half of laying in bed like a normal person. But chickens roost. So
Yeah.
they just sort of like nestle in and grip with their claws and try not to tear the fabric while they sleep.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I would like TOC as because this is happening like middle of the night. Uh, I would like TOC to roll an insight check, or not insight, perception
And
check,
in
just perception.
okay,
Maybe something. This you'll see why. 14.
14.
Okay, it's very easy to tell. You hear a not a crash as much as just like you hear noise coming from Victrola's room. Like this is like it's late into the evening. It's like 12. Victrola should definitely be asleep. It is the weekend, so she usually stays up a little later. But
They are already moving. The last time they were awoken abruptly was not great. So now they are on top of things. They are making their way down the hall before they're fully awake.
oh my goodness. As you're getting closer, you can hear Victrola saying, "Come on, which one was it?" And roll a perception check as you're walking past Triny's room and uh, into the hallway. Another 14. Easy enough to notice that
Only
the
14
TV,
today.
yeah, the TV that usually sits in front of the sofa has been grabbed, and Chinese door, which is usually has remained closed for the first couple of days, has remained closed.
Mm.
Or I
Mm-hmm.
mean, has opened up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. I think they actually go for the doorknob and then stop. Okay, and like just sort of peek around. What do they see?
Chinese room.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for Triny's room, what you notice is underneath Triny's bed is there's a shelf where Triny keeps a bunch of VHSs next to the TV. A couple of them have uh, have been grabbed and taken from that bookshelf as well. But you notice that underneath Triny's bed, there's a set of boxes that also hold VHSs, and they have been pulled
Mm-hmm.
out, and haphazardly, some of them have been taken out, and that they weren't put back in. Um,
Mm. Any Victrola?
Victrola is not in this room; she's in her room.
Okay, they keep going.
Yeah. It is at this point that you can definitely hear Victrola is like shuffling with something made out of plastic. You would think, with looking at those, it is not a irrational thought to have probably some VHSs. And with TV
Mm.
missing, I think you can put together a picture.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you hear from Victrola's room.
Yeah. All right. I think they actually pause in front of the door before they open it, and they think because the gentle thing would be to knock and give her a second to put the situation the way that Victrola would want them to see it in. The possibly more efficient thing might be just to open the door. And I think that that thought just kind of like, do I care more about doing this gently or doing this effectively? So
Weird.
I'm going to roll a D2.
Wrong way.
Okay, that's the kind option. They knock on the door.
I, uh, And you just hear like a little like startledness before rushing things, and then Victrola opens the door.
Hmm.
Hi.
They are. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hi.
Hmm. Roll an insight check, Victrola.
Nope. Dude.
Hmm. All right. Well, they obviously didn't hear what you were doing, so you don't have to be worried about that. But they don't look happy. They don't look mad, but they don't look happy.
Did I forget to
Very
wash?
odd.
Did I forget to wash the dishes?
TOC shakes their head.
Uh, well, I mean, if you don't mind, I am gonna go back to, and she's slowly closing the door.
Mm-mm. No, TOC suppresses a chuckle and says, they sign, well, first of all, you shouldn't go through your brother's things when he's not here. Second of all, you should be in bed. Third, do you want to tell me what's going on?
She looks down, like not at you, but at the floor, like
Mm.
in that kind of like I've been caught kind of way, and just oh,
I think they kind of add, you're not in trouble. You're not, well, if you're doing something dangerous, you're in trouble. But you're not in trouble until, I open the door and see a collection of butcher knives or something. You don't have to do this alone, whatever it is.
I should be in trouble.
Mm. Baseline, I am the adult here. I will be the judge of that. What's up? I can
And
see something's wrong.
Victrola opens the door fully, and you see haphazardly had stuffed some of the VHSs uh, like underneath the bed, and these VHSs are unlabeled, um,
Hmm.
meaning either you don't know what this means, but just specifically for the audience. This would mean that either Triny made them and didn't have time to like just go through them and make sure to label them with a good name, um, or and so on and so forth. So Victrola is now trying to find. You would you would think that Victrola is trying to find one upon seeing that, a specific one.
Hmm. I think they take this in. And I think very slowly they sign Victrola. What were you going to do with these?
I was looking for something,
And what were you looking for?
and she opens up the door fully this time and begins walking into the room to like let you in.
Mm. Yeah, they
And
go.
you see the television has been plugged in first of all, onto the her like placed on top of her what's it called, the dresser basically, and which is like one of the long ones, and it's been plugged into the behind it, and on the screen uh, you can see now a video that was already going, which was the hockey game.
Hmm.
It has been paused.
TOC takes in this room, like, I think they know by now that these are Triny's personal memories, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that they're going to just take a second because the idea of someone rooting around in their memories is extremely disquieting to them. Um, and they're just gonna look at Victrola. They don't really say anything. They're just sort of like quietly like, hmm.
She goes over to sit on the bed and like she's wearing her little doggo bleb sweater, which means she was definitely
Oh,
not heading to bed. She's not even wearing her PJs. Um,
yep.
but she like draws her legs, tucks her leg into the sweater while getting on top of the bed, and is just looking at the screen. I just wanted to find a specific
Hmm.
memory. Okay.
Gosh,
Roll an
I
insight.
think Teus.
Sorry.
Yeah. Do-do-do.
20 fucking 3. Perhaps it's because uh, it is dark in this room, but the only thing that is illuminating Victrola is the TV itself, which is on. That has made it so it is more noticeable to notice that she is shaking.
Hmm.
Not out of coldness, because she has a sweater on. So, out of something else.
Yep. Well, TUC flutters up on top of the bed alongside her, and um, they're moving pretty slowly so that she can lean away if she wants to, but they'll tuck her under their wing. And I think after a while, a long while, because it they don't want to rush this. They don't want to rush her. Um, and I think that they start out with everyone got out of that okay, right? No one was even hurt. It we not a good situation to be in, but I can tell you that the situation was a lucky one. It
I would never call that
the
lucky.
ice.
I almost killed. And she says that and then immediately refreshes like my brother could have died. You could have died.
Mm, I think that they um definitely take note of that, and they're just like, okay, all right. Um, but they're just gonna tuck her in a little bit tighter, and they're gonna sign. Um, we there were multiple people there. Someone could have run for help. The ice was shattered enough that we didn't have to worry about getting stuck underneath. And the fact that we could all work together to make sure that we were all right meant that we were. It What happened wasn't good, and none of us should try to do it again. But we know now. We understand that these things can happen, and we can prepare. Does that make sense? It wasn't anyone's fault. You don't have to feel guilty, Victrola. These things happen. That's just how it goes, especially when you care about people. Sometimes they fall into danger, and we have to get them out of it.
you see, like, as you're talking, and specifically when you say this isn't your fault, uh, Victrola almost like just shakes more, and like she grabs a little remote and begins pressing play, and the scene that follows after is just, it's from Triny's perspective, so he did not see her, but he did look at her, and you could see her expression was of just like, and it's the moment where she said, "Why can't either of you just score?" And the ice shatters, and Victrola just
Ah,
says, "That was me. I shattered the ice. I didn't even mean to do it. I just." And at this point, she's crying.
oh, oh, jeez. Jade, my gosh. TFC just presses her close and tucks her underneath their chin and tries not to let her see their expression, which is devastated. They just hold her and think really hard because what the fuck is this situation?
I am so sorry.
They're just like, man, okay, taking care of kids is weird.
You see, by the way, that
It,
she has begun hugging you, and she is crying into your feathers.
yeah, that's fine. That's basically what they're built for. They're very fluffy. I think that they'll just let her cry it out for as long as that takes. Um, like it's TOC is a very good like waiter. They're a very patient person, especially with their family. Um,
There's nothing
but they
TOC
don't.
doesn't have if not time.
There's really not. But they're trying. Um, I think that for the first time, they are making an effort to sort of project that sort of like Zen attitude because they're not feeling Zen. They are. This is a lot. It's a lot.
So sorry, author.
I'm having a wonderful time. Apologize to
Okay.
the chicken. Um, I think that they sit there until Victrola's tears start to disappear into hiccups, and until uh the grip that they have on their feathers starts to loosen a little bit. Um, and they'll gently like nudge her off the bed and sort of sheepdog navigate her into the kitchen. Um, and they go into one of the cabinets that they went into earlier, and they get out a packet of only slightly burnt cookies and some milk. And when Victrola next looks up, she is sitting at the table or the counter, whatever's easiest to wrangle.
Yeah.
And there is a artfully arranged plate of cookies and 2 glasses of milk and a chicken.
Victrola grabs the cookie, like just grabs one,
Mm,
and like she has her head slumped onto the table. Like there's no strength in this kid. They have just cried for probably what is up to like 30 minutes. It was a lot of crying. She's probably very dehydrated, to be honest. Um,
yeah,
and she just kind of like grabs it and like brings it forward and like just stuffs the whole thing into her mouth.
yep. Need those carbs. Need those electrolytes. Um, yeah, TOC grabs not as many cookies, and they have their own milk, so no one has to share. But I think they just let them eat in silence for a while, unless Victrola has something to say.
I'm trying to think of how to like. I I like it's like it's almost like the words don't come out, mainly because she doesn't know what the fuck to say, but also because like she's been crying for so long that it's just difficult.
Yeah, I think they put the glass of milk in her hands and they sign. Do you think you could sign it for me?
And she nods. And this is such a fucking that is actually a very smart uh way of doing this, because that's actually what I sometimes had to do. I had to write out stuff whenever I couldn't talk about it, so this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And she signs, I knew I could cast a spell like that. I I blew up a tree practicing it with a person at school, and uh, I don't know what happened. I just I was getting frustrated because I wanted Triny to make sure that I wanted Triny to lose. I knew he was stressing out over this, and it just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's too tired to cry anymore. But yeah,
Yeah, I think TOC hesitates for a long moment, and then they sign. Um, it by now I'm sure that Triny knows a little bit more than the last time we spoke, or at least I really hope so. So I think that you um hmm, these things happen when we're learning. It's um and I think that your brother cares for you an awful lot. An awful lot. And I don't think, well, I hope very much that you talked about this with him before he left, but he would not blame you. I'm sure of it.
it is too tired for her to try to lie. You know for a fact from the way that she looks guilty that she has not talked to her brother about it.
Mm, TOC's just gonna take a moment because they can't, like, they know that if they get angry, it will be devastating for this child. They can't be angry right now, but at the same time, oh my god, why are all the Ton family like this? Why are they like this?
Runs in our blood, baby.
They're just
uh,
like son of a gun.
uh,
Um,
I will say
I
that
think they
Victrola. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
nah, they're just like um they're just schooling their expression for a second. Oh, hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just gonna say more. Okay. If so, then Victrola does sign back. I have spoken to some people about it. I spoke to Radkit's mom, who uh, is a god. apparently. She said she would look into it, and I made a friend named Camille, and she or he uh well, he was helping me because he knew magic.
Mm. I think TUC takes a second, um, and they sign it. Victrola, what do you think family is? I promise this is important to what we're talking about, but what do you think family is?
That question, not forces her back as much as just like furrows her brow for a second, before like she responds. I mean, it's the people who you do anything for. Like, I mean, I know Triny's family, and I know he would go, you know, but I also know that it's not the people you want to worry. I don't want to worry him.
A sign family is who you have when you have nothing. Family is your light in the dark. Family is your lighthouse off the surf. Families are the ones that you live for. You can die for a whole lot of things, but the ones that you can come home to are the ones who will never leave your side no matter how far you go. Victrola, this scares me so much. This, you should know what you have on your hands. The fact that this deal was forced upon you makes me furious in a way I don't know how to tell you. You don't know what's going to be asked of you, and you don't know what you've been given. You don't have any information, but you do have your family. You have me, you have Triny, you have Marigold, you have your friends, and I am so proud of you for reaching out to them. Don't think I'm not. But you need this. This is what we're here for. You need us, and we are here to help. Please don't do this alone. I don't know what to say to you to convince you, but please. What do you think it would do to your brother to lose you? Well, I can't say I'd be too pleased either,
The moment that you even
but neither
say
would
that,
you.
like Victrola just draws back, and like it's not slumps. It's not that she like slumping feels like it's not like she cares. It's just like she draws back, and just that hits. It is notable to notice that that
Mm,
hits. And like you see,
yeah.
she starts tearing up a little bit before she like just like wipes him away with her hand, and just says, um, "I know, sorry, just." And she actually, uh, she's looking past you. Like she, it looks like she's looking at you for a second before she's looking past you. And if you were to look back there, he's looking at a picture of uh, her and her family, like her whole family before everything.
Mm,
And then she
yeah.
just looks down, and I I promise to tell Triny soon. And
And
sorry,
oh,
go
you
ahead.
finished.
No,
Sorry.
no, no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
And TOC signs, I believe you. And they just preen the top of her little radio head. Like almost like they're ruffling hair that isn't there. But
No, it's
like
valid. You're ruffling the
just like a very
antennas.
solid symbol. Mm, gosh. And I think that they draw her back into a hug. And behind her back, they just sign, it can't have you. Whatever it is, it can't have you.
Okay. I won't. I won't let it.
Mm.
I'll tell Triny. Not. I mean, not immediately when he gets back. I want to try and maybe find out more information. And I'm doing that.
You,
I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I just don't want to worry him. I know I keep saying that, but I if I tell him about this, he'll go and investigate it and it'll take up all of his time. Literally all of his time. I've seen how he gets. And she just like she at this point she's gotten off the chair and she's pacing and like you have no idea how he gets when he falls down into one of those like mysteries of things.
mm, I think TUC is thinking back to the big conspiracy board, which is a big conspiracy board,
Mm-hmm.
and the small population of coffee mugs that appear to be self-replicating in his room.
Yeah. I'm gonna just a little joke. I'm gonna say that you probably tried cleaning them while he was away, and they still somehow self-replicated.
Yeah, it's like they put a fine like each amount that they put into the dishwasher is like, quantifiable, but there keeps being more. So I think that there's a point where the dishwasher is just like rows upon rows upon rows of mugs, and
Mm-hmm.
they're just like, all right, something's up.
It's a time space anomaly. We can't. We do not know what the fuck is going on in Chinese room about coffee mugs, but whatever.
God, I have so many freaking emotions right now, Jade.
I'm so sorry. I needed to lighten the mood a little.
I applaud you.
Uh,
But yet TOC is considering the fact that that might be the tip that might be the tip of the iceberg. That sort of bloody mindedness. Like they're a stubborn bird, but I think that Triny has them beat in their mind.
you don't know the half of it.
Mm. I think that they think for a while, and they say, it Triny deserves a choice. Triny deserves to have a say in his own well-being. But if he makes the wrong choice, you and I and Juniper and everyone else, and maybe Daffodil, get to be the ones to yank him back to Earth, okay? We'll take care of him, just like he tries to take care of literally everyone. Does that sound good? I think we can take him combined.
yeah, yeah. And like she's grabbed another cookie by this point and like is chugging on that milk. Just
Yeah,
gonna go
the
need to
mug
shop
is
it for
nearby,
more.
or
Yeah.
Yeah, the jug is nearby, or the carton, whichever they have. Um, and I think after, like, once she's done with that, TFC has been thinking, and they sign. I do know a practitioner, a researcher, a scientist, um, who is very clever and very kind. And he has experience in managing dangerous magic or wild magic, I guess you could say. Um, would I will let you decide when this happens, whether this is before Triny gets back or after you've told him. But I'd like to take you to another member of my family. Um, his name is Nebula Rose.
I think I'd like that.
Hmm.
At least, the more information I can give Triny at least beforehand, the better.
Hmm.
So I guess sooner rather than later, so I can tell him sooner.
Nice sign. We can make that happen. Um,
I am.
and they get sort of a funny expression on their face. Just sort of like a sort of mm-hmm. All right. Okay. All right. Like that's just sort of their um that's their internal monologue for a couple seconds. It's just like, sure.
Me knowing
Um,
he who. Anyways.
yeah, TOC's just realized that Trainy's gonna be fucking pissed when they figure out that they have inadvertently been keeping a secret from him for over a month about the most important person in his life. They're just like, well,
This is fine.
yeah, I'm either getting disowned or he'll get over it. Whichever one.
You won't get the zone, probably.
Who knows?
Yeah, who
Anyways,
knows? Only we do. Anyways,
come on, would we be that evil, guys?
yes.
Anyway.
Yes, we would. Anyways, I'm not looking at the Nuts and Bolts gallery, but I'm sure they're going fucking crazy.
I am. It's fucking great. I love you
Lovely.
guys so much.
But Victrola does eventually say, I, I'm gonna go put the tapes back.
Mm. And before they go, they sign. Um, it those are Chinese like personal memories, right?
I mean,
Are you like? Is
yeah.
he okay with you going through like literally his perception of the world?
Ah, and you see, there's a pause because Victrola does say, I mean, he's okay with me going through those, and points towards the bookshelf next to where the DVD is supposed to be, which is filled with a bunch of VHSs of Chinese
Mm,
memories, which are labeled, and as well as a couple of film reels actually, um, that are definitely not from Triny, and uh, some actual movies.
nice.
Yeah, a lot of DJ moves. But
Yeah.
that's what Victrola says, which is not a lie.
Can they roll insight?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wonderful. 26.
Well, with a 26, Victrola just deflected the question by saying those VHSs are okay.
Mm-hmm. They're giving her the grandpa look. They're
I
giving her the grandparent look.
I mean, I have maybe, and she's beginning to just walk slowly towards the room.
TUC just signs, put them back, little sister.
Yeah. And heads on over to grab the videotapes. Um, you do see as she grabs all of them and has the box. She when she comes back out. Uh, the last time we left the TV on, it was during her expression, so she did see that. So she's a little
Mm.
bit saddened by that, but she is grabbing all the tapes and yeah. I'll say this for the audience. As soon as she steps inside, she is grabbing all the tapes, and the moment she turns around to look at the TV, she stares at it for a couple of seconds, and like just looks. And you can think there's a million things going through her head before she finally presses the button that pushes the VHS out and puts it back in the box, and then begins walking towards Triton's room.
I have a question. I'm like TFC is not there, but author as part of the audience have a
Mm-hmm.
question.
Yes.
Did she rewind it?
Um, no,
Hmm.
she just took it out.
Okay. All right.
It's
Well,
yeah, yeah. Don't worry about it. This is an unlabeled
when
VHS.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Gosh. Gosh. All right. Um. Okay. Sorry. I need to get back into TFC brain for a
I'm
sec.
so sorry.
Um. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm having a wonderful time. Um. But when Victrola gets back into the living room, TUC has taken out one of the DVDs from DJ Moves and is kind of looking it over critically.
Oh,
Like I
yeah,
imagine it's very glittery. There's a lot of penguins on it.
yeah,
Um, like it is incomprehensible to a person who has been in, basically the adventures that have been chronicled here and also a bog and not a lot of other places.
correct.
Yep.
I don't know
So,
if the moves discography is a thing, but we can just say it's Star Cause.
mm, that works.
Yeah.
When they see Victrola back, uh they sort of show this to her like sort of like looking for an explanation.
Oh, this is Star Cause. I mean,
Mm.
like, Triny does have like actual movies. I mean, we're DJ Moves fans, so
I mean, that doesn't really tell them
oh,
much, but I
okay.
think they look back down at
Have you?
no, it they go ahead.
As I say, have you never seen a movie?
Uh they they flash back to one time they wandered into a movie theater and it was rerunning one of the engineer's older films,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one where he played the villain. And they sit down on the seat and look up just in time to see a half owl, half fox tune, uh, saying really mean things, loom large over the story tall screen. And there's just sort of a dust cloud in the shape of TOC
Ah.
because they are each again and they have um fought both owls and foxes and were killed by a fox. So that's really
mm-hmm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like, wow, what if both of those things were the same thing and was a little bit on fire and was
And
also
also
like
larger than you.
larger than you and also like a villain.
Yep.
So they sort of shake themselves out of the flashback and go, once or twice.
If you've never seen Star Cause, it's probably one of the engineers' like only good movies. So I will raise hell, motherfuckers. I am not afraid. And at least in my opinion. And you want to watch it?
Uh, I think they signed, sure.
Okay.
Uh,
And Victrola puts it down, goes and makes some popcorn. It might be a little late, but you can't watch movies without popcorn.
yeah.
Yeah.
And TOC, I assume Triny like put out blankets for them, which they have not used because they've been in roosting mode.
Yeah.
So they go grab those and like make a little nest for both of them.
Yeah. Victrola gets under the blankets, and I like to imagine you just roost on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah,
and
they just they watch Star Cause,
yeah.
and TOC understands none of it.
But Victrola seems excited when things happened.
Mm,
There's an ice cream
yeah,
truck somewhere in there. I don't actually know why, because I've never seen the Starcast things movies, but or
they're
like
very good.
the games, but yeah. And I think that's
Yeah,
a pretty good spot.
it actually I do have a little bit of
Oh,
an
go ahead.
epilogue.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we there's a little bit of time skip, um, and the credits are rolling, and TOC has been dozing, and they look down, and Victrola has fallen asleep against them. I'm taking some liberties here, but I
Oh
hope that's
yeah,
okay
no,
with
that's perfectly reasonable. Yes.
and they scoop her up, um, and blankets it all, and go to deposit her, um, in her own bed. Like it's they have to extricate the bull from her grasp, but they,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they take a moment to make sure that like she's, good and comfy and tucked in well. Um, and they're about to leave the room when they pause, and from the very depths of their mind, they remember something. They remember a lullaby. Come, my darling, lay your head down. Dawn comes swift, but night comes faster. While you sleep, the wolves will hunger, but with dawn comes hope anew. And they pause and they look back at Victrola, and they open their beak, and all that comes out is a harsh cough. And they very quickly stops making that noise because there's a sleeping child, and leave the room. Thanks for listening, everybody.
That was so fucking good. Oh, good shit. Oh.
Gosh, Jade, my freaking heart. My heart.
Yeah.
Oh, these freaking. I'm crying over appliances. I'm crying over appliances. What have you done?
Oh, don't you worry, my friend. I mean,
Yeah, I know. It's
yeah,
about to get way well, not about
it's
to,
only
but
gonna
it
get
sounds
yeah, it's only gonna get worse before it gets better.
man.
But man,
Yeah, I will say by the way that TUC is like they're like, all right, the little one's fucked up. I better check on the big one at some point.
oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna start
So
recording.
yeah, same.
Uh,
Thanks everybody.
thank you for listening, everybody.